Thanks everyone for coming along on the Sunday. Had a great day yesterday. I learned a lot about WordPress and made a whole bunch of notes which we're looking forward to implementing. My name's Troy Dean. I'm Director at Tonto Digital. We're a web development agency here in Melbourne. I'm also a co-founder of Video User Manuals. Brian Porteous is the other co-founder sitting here in the front row. We make plugins for WordPress. Just a brief history. I wrote my first content management system about 5 years ago in Notepad+, and was really proud of it. And I was talking to Brian about it one Easter holiday, and he said, "Oh, you should look at WordPress." And I went, "Oh yeah, WordPress, yeah." And I downloaded WordPress and started to play with it and saw the light, realised that I just spent 6 weeks of my life doing something I could have done in about half an hour. So I've been developing on WordPress for about the last 4 years and have really enjoyed the evolution of WordPress. But the one thing that's always occurred to me, and one of the reasons that we're here today talking about this, is because the reason I wrote a content management system initially was because I knew there was the business of updating clients' websites was not the business I wanted to be in. But I also soon realised that the business of training clients how to use a content management system is also not the business that I really wanted to be in. So I started thinking about how we could empower our clients to use WordPress as quickly as possible and without relying on us as web developers for too many resources. So why do you need a better WordPress for clients? Well, our philosophy is that if WordPress is a better user experience for the end users, for clients, that will attract more small to medium enterprise clients to WordPress as a platform, which will in turn attract more developers to WordPress as a platform, which will hopefully just make WordPress evolve and grow as a platform, which is good for everyone. So that's why we think you need a better WordPress for your clients, but also you need a better WordPress for your clients because you need to remove yourself from the handover and from the training as much as possible, because it's not a profitable business to be in unless that is your business, just training WordPress clients. Like Tony, the WordPress guy, does a lot of that, and that's a business model that he's adopted. It's working for him. But in terms of building a site for a client and handing it over, you don't then want to spend a lot of time explaining the CMS to that client. You want them up and running as quickly as possible. So who's this presentation for? The emphasis today is on web developers who are using WordPress as a content management system to deliver sites to clients. That's predominantly who this presentation is for. It's also for development firms who want to hand over a more professional looking CMS to their clients. And the presentation is based on a series of ebooks that we give away on our blog, and those ebooks are a better WordPress for clients, how to sell WordPress to clients, and making WordPress more secure. So feel free to go to those, go to our blog and download the free ebooks. A lot of the techniques that we're going to show you today are based on two plugins that we write. One is free, one's a premium plugin. The free plugin is called White Label CMS, and it allows you to do a lot of the techniques that we're going to show you today. You don't have to use the White Label CMS plugin. You can do a lot of these techniques yourselves, and in fact on our blog there's a whole bunch of resources that we link to that you can look up and learn how to do a lot of this stuff yourself. The WordPress User Manual is a premium paid plugin that we make, which is a whole bunch of video tutorials and a written manual to help you train your clients how to use WordPress as a CMS, and we'll cover that a little bit later on in the training client section. The White Label CMS, the reason that we wrote that initially is because we would build a website in WordPress, hand it over, the client would sign in, and we'd start telling them straight away to ignore 90% of what they were looking at because it wasn't relevant for them. And that just created confusion, and it made our training process a little murky, and it took us longer to train our clients. The White Label CMS has had over 17,000 downloads so far from WordPress Extend. But as I said, you don't need to use these plugins. You can do all of these techniques yourself, and in fact we give you the resources to do that. So for us, making WordPress better for the clients is all about removing the noise, removing the clutter from the experience, and making it really simple for them to log into their CMS and start managing their own website themselves. So the overarching idea throughout this whole presentation is removing the clutter and removing the white noise, if you like, from WordPress as a CMS. So let's go through the client experience. You've just built a website for a client and you're about to hand it over to them. Yes, time is money, we know that. And the simpler the client's admin dashboard, the easier it is to train and the less confusion there is. So once you've built the website, you're about to hand it over to the client. From our experience, most developers set up their client as an admin in WordPress, and we would suggest that you don't. You set your client up as an editor in WordPress, if possible. And we think it is possible most of the time. If a client needs to be set up as an admin in WordPress because they want to install their own plugins, or they want to install their own themes, or they want access to the widgets, then chances are you don't need to be training them anyway because they know what they're doing. So we would suggest that you really think about how your client's going to use WordPress and ask yourself, can I set them up as an editor? If they sit somewhere between an editor and an admin, then create another role for them. Create a webmaster role for them, or a publisher role. You can use the Adminimise and the Members plugin to turn certain parts off of the dashboard and create a new role that just gives them the permissions that they need. So chances are they don't need the links blog role menu. Chances are they don't need the tools menu. If they're not blogging, they don't need the comments menu. So think about what your client needs and just give them the tools that they need. Or you can use the white label CMS to hide most of the menus in the left-hand sidebar, but still show the client what it is they need to do. So you've set the client up as an editor, hopefully, and you then give them this URL to log into their website, which is wp-login.php, which for all of us makes perfect sense. We've lost count the amount of times a client calls up and says, I can't remember my username or my password, and I can't even remember the URL that I need to go to log in. So our advice would be to rebrand that login URL as just /login. And there's a script from the planetoz or planetozh.com blog which explains how to do this. It will be in the new version of the white label CMS, which is due out hopefully in a week or 10 days. So /login is a much cleaner and a much more acceptable way for a client to access their admin dashboard. So once they get to the login screen, we rebrand the login screen. Now, the point is here not to hide the fact that we're using WordPress to build websites. On the contrary, we actually have a whole ebook on how to sell WordPress to clients. And part of that ebook is an interview with Tammy Hart, who's an automatic recognised WordPress consultant, and she just spoke at WordCamp Miami last week. And she says that one of the big advantages of using WordPress to build websites is that you don't have 6 developers working on your website, on your CMS. You have 60,000 or 600,000 or however many developers there are working on WordPress. You've got this access to this really large community of web developers working on the platform. So we use WordPress as part of our sales process. So this is not about hiding WordPress from the client. This is about giving the client a much less confusing experience from the moment they log into the dashboard. If they see WordPress, they might start asking questions. What is this WordPress? They might start Googling around and go off on a whole tangent you don't want them to go off on. If they see their own logo, it makes perfect sense. Oh yeah, this has been customised, it's been built for me, it's meeting my expectations, it's subconscious, they don't even realise how smooth the experience is, but that's kind of the point. So this actually makes a big difference to the perception of the site, just that one simple thing of branding the login. There's a whole bunch of plugins that can do that. The white label CMS does it, BM custom login, there's a whole bunch of plugins that do it, and it's quite a very simple process. So the dashboard. The dashboard's the one page that we used to try and get off as quickly as possible. We'd start our training session, we'd log the client in, and we'd say, right, just ignore everything here. All you need to do is come over here and go to Add Edit Pages. So this is the default dashboard that an admin will see when they log into WordPress. I'm sure you guys are familiar with all of this. And a lot of this is really useful to us, but the point here is this is actually not a very useful dashboard for our client. They don't care about the WordPress development blog. They don't care about update nags. They don't care about half of the menus here on the left-hand side. They're probably not going to ever use QuickPress. So we want to make this a really useful launch pad for our client. So how do we do that? Well, WordPress actually has built in now screen options that and in fact has a more advanced screen options menu in 3.1. So you can hide a lot of the stuff on the dashboard just by opening up the screen options and unticking what you don't want to show, or you can use the white label CMS plugin to hide most of the dashboard. We're amazed at the amount of sites we take over from previous developers who just haven't done this. The client's still logging in, asking us questions like, what is all this stuff on the dashboard? It's a really simple thing to do and will save a lot of questions and a lot of confusion. Add a welcome message to the dashboard. So when the client logs in, you start directing their journey through WordPress as a CMS. So add your own panel to the dashboard, personalise the welcome message, provide useful links to the most frequently used parts of WordPress, and provide links to the training manual or the homepage editor plugin, which we'll cover in a while, or their Google Analytics account. So all of a sudden the dashboard becomes a really useful place for them to start managing their content and learning this new technology. So don't take it for granted that because we think WordPress is probably the best CMS in the world and the easiest to use, don't take it for granted that your clients are going to have a clue about WordPress or even a content management system. So as part of our setup process, we've got some HTML text set up in our intranet. We literally just copy and paste it into the white label CMS plugin and customise it for each client. So the welcome message on our dashboards for our clients might look something like this. We've got it personalised with the client's name, brief explanation about what this is and why they're here. We've got a link to some video tutorials to show them how to use WordPress as a CMS. We've got a link to the homepage editor plugin, which we'll show you in a moment. We've got a link to the add or edit pages module, and we've got a link to their Google Analytics account. So all of a sudden, this is a really useful resource for our client. We brand the header and the footer. There's a whole bunch of plugins again that you can use to do this. Just to reiterate, it's not about hiding WordPress from the client, it's just about saving confusion and giving the client a really nice, smooth experience. So we replace the WordPress logo with our client's logo on the top left-hand corner, and we provide a link back to our website and our logo in the footer, which is a nice bit of branding for us, and gives them, you know, a very easy way to contact us. Not that they should be, because they should know and have enough resources now to educate themselves and not have to call us or email us. Remove unnecessary menus. This is an absolute deal breaker for me. The amount of times I've had to explain to clients what comments are and why it's not relevant for them because we haven't built them a blog because they haven't wanted one or they don't have the budget for it. Or what is the links menu? I've gone into the links menu and I'm trying to manage links on my site and I have to explain to them that we haven't built that functionality. So think about how your client's going to use WordPress. Are they blogging or are they just using it as a CMS to run a basic brochure site? This is the, even logged in as an editor, this is the standard menu structure that a client would see in WordPress. We try and give them something like this. So they can't break anything because there's nothing to break. This is all they need to do, upload some media and add or edit some pages. You can use the white label CMS which as I mentioned is a free plugin at WordPress Extend, to modify the menus. So in the white label CMS, you just choose the profile that your client is using WordPress for. So if you choose a website, it will automatically hide the posts, links, comments, and tools menu. If you choose the blog profile, it will show the menus they need to blog. Or you can choose a custom profile and set up the menus that you want to show or hide yourself. We've also made it so that you can show the appearance module to editors so they can access the new menus module and move menus around, but we've hidden the themes out of the appearance menu so they can't go in and change a theme, which invariably, if it was there, they would try and do. You can also do this with Adminimize. You can use the Adminimize plugin and turn a whole bunch of stuff off in the dashboard. So putting it together so far, here's the standard WordPress dashboard that you would see if you gave your client admin access and didn't customize anything. And here's the dashboard that our clients see. So just to go through it very quickly, we've got their logo at the top left-hand corner. We've got a really simple stripped-back menu structure, just giving them what they need. We've got a welcome panel with their name on it and some useful resources and useful links. And we've got our logo on the bottom left-hand corner. So we think this is a far more useful dashboard for our clients. The next thing they're going to want to do is start to edit some content, and editing the home page is one of those really tricky things. We certainly don't want them touching template PHP files. We don't want them using the visual editor to try and do complex things like set up featured product carousels on the home page. So we have a plugin that we wrote, which is a homepage editor. It's a simple options page that we can, within a couple of minutes, customise for each client, and it allows the client to edit content on their homepage, assign certain blog posts or products as featured, to feed a jQuery carousel or whatever the functionality is, and it just gives the client more control over their homepage. And again, this is just all about making the client experience as best as we possibly can. This is again, reusing this as a plugin. Having this set up in our intranet as a plugin literally means within a couple of minutes we can drop this in and customise it for the client, and it saves us a lot of time. It also makes the experience of all our customers consistent, so that whenever we build a website with WordPress, all of our clients get the same kind of experience from us. Add a page management tool. The page manager in WordPress by default shows 10 pages before it paginates and you have to scroll through, which is great if you've got a client who's only got 6 or 7 pages, but if they've got children pages or sub-pages, it might get a little complex. So we use a page management tool. We use CMS Page Tree, but you can also use Page Mash, or you could write your own. So our page management plugin looks something like this. It's a much more visual approach. The client can drag and drop pages around, make children pages of other parents, add pages, and it makes the page management for the client much more intuitive. This is, by the way, this is all about, this isn't, I just need to reiterate, this is not a completely selfless approach that we're taking here. This is all designed to stop the client calling us or emailing us once we deliver the site to them, so that we can get on with building new sites for new clients. You can also, the advantage of doing this yourself and making your own plugin is you can choose where it sits in the menu structure. And if you make a training tutorial or a PDF document on how to use this, you're not going to need to update it whenever PageMash or CMS Page Tree View update their plugins. So using your own plugins and your own code snippets just gives you more control. Group menus together. The most important link should be at the top. When you install a plugin, it automatically appends the plugin to the bottom of the menu structure. So we group our menus. We group our important links at the top of the menu. You can either do this yourself or you can use the admin menu editor plugin. There is actually an article on our blog which shows you how to do this yourself, so feel free to use that resource. But you can see here the most useful plugins for this client are right at the top where they need them. So now we have a clean, uncluttered admin interface for the clients. It's time to train them how to actually use WordPress as a CMS to make changes on their site, upload images, write blog posts, add pages, whatever they want to do. So training your clients. So clients just bought a website from you and they've got a clean, uncluttered dashboard. They're ready to go. If you don't give them training materials, they will ring you. And there's this thing called what I call the emergency loop, which is I've had clients literally call me crying because they've forgotten how to update an image, how to upload an image to their page, and they've got an email marketing launch going out at 4 o'clock this afternoon and their website's not ready and they're in tears. And what I've realised over the years is that this client's having a panic attack, and the way that she's dealing with that is to call me or email me. Well, guess what? I don't want to be her medicine for her panic attack. Because if I answer that call and fix that little thing for her that's only going to take me 10 minutes, I've just set a dangerous precedent. And every time she has a panic attack about her website or the fact that her emails don't work because Big Pond's down, guess who she's going to call? So I'm removing myself from her emergency loop. I'm not interested in her anxiety. I'm giving her the material that she needs, and she needs to sort it out herself. So I actually have this policy now where existing clients ring me, I never answer the phone. I let them leave a voice message, and I'll tell you what happens. They leave a voice message saying, oh, I can't work out how to upload an image, and the newsletter's going out this afternoon, and it's, the sky's falling in, it's all turned to shit, and I can't believe Collingwood won the grand final, my life's over. And I just let it go, and half an hour later I get another voice message. Oh, just ignore that previous message, Troy, I figured it out. Thanks very much, all is good, hope you have a good weekend. Right? So encourage and educate your client, and if they're not learning, then force your client to actually figure it out themselves, because people are resourceful. They will figure it out themselves. They're just going to the obvious place first, and if you allow them to do that, you're going to set yourself up. So you've got to train your clients, and what we've learnt is training your clients takes time, and you've got to budget it, you've got to quote for it. We ran a poll on our website, 1,200 WordPress developers filled in this poll, and they told us that it takes on average 2 hours to train a client and another 1 hour of answering their questions. So that's 3 hours of your time per client. So you've got to factor that into the quote. Training, provide a manual for your client. You've got to provide either bullet point written manual as a Word doc PDF or video tutorials. We would recommend you provide both. The same client who was having a panic attack last week, we made a whole bunch of video tutorials specifically for their site. We put it up on a TV tutorial portal that we have for our clients. She hasn't watched them. We did this 3 months ago, and she still has not watched the TV tutorials because she can't remember where to log in and what her username was to log in and watch the video tutorials. So she eventually admitted to me that she's never watched the video tutorials, and she said, what I really need is screenshots in a bullet point form in a Word doc. So it took me about an hour to knock up these screenshots and bullet points in a Word doc, send her off a PDF, and she's like, right, this is what I wanted. You know, why couldn't have I had this to start with? So people, it's a left brain, right brain thing. People sometimes learn from watching video tutorials, sometimes they learn from actually following screenshots. So we provide both to our clients. You can write your own manual, takes a lot of effort, we know because we've done it, and every time WordPress is updated, you've got to update your screenshots. The reason that our video tutorial manual exists, our plugin exists in the first place, is because I did that. I locked myself in a dark room for 4 weeks, wrote a 100-page PDF on how to use WordPress as an editor, took 100 screenshots, laid everything out, made it completely idiot-proof. Sent it up to Brian, said, hey, check this out, give this to your clients as a PDF, it's going to stop them ringing you. He was like, this is fantastic, it's great. 3 days later, WordPress was updated. All my screenshots were out of date. So Brian rings me back and says, hey, we should make this into a plugin and add some videos to it and just update it and let other WordPress developers use it because it's a great resource. So that's why our video user manuals plugin exists. There's a whole bunch of other training materials on the web. You don't need to subscribe to our plugin. The thing about the material on the web, though, is most of it's based at WordPress developers. Not a lot of it's user-centric. All of our stuff is user-centric. But regardless of what materials you use, there are some key things that you should be doing with your training materials. And yes, you can subscribe to a premium plugin like ours and it costs money. So just briefly, the WordPress manual plugin that we provides video tutorials in your dashboard, and it has 30 professionally produced video tutorials with an Australian voiceover, thank you. A 100-page written manual with screenshots because people do learn differently. It updates with each stable release of WordPress, which is a real key element. It's completely rebrandable. You can stick your own logo on it, and you can add your own videos. We've got the ability for you to add your custom videos because there'll be something specific about everyone's site that can't be covered in a generic suite of materials. So the point of showing you this little screen grab is that the materials that we provide our clients are at the point of need. The materials here are where and when the client needs them. So they don't have to log into another URL, they don't have to email anyone, they don't have to call anyone. When they're stuck, everything they need is where they need it and when they need it, and it works how they expect it to work. Our navigation works the same as the WordPress navigation. So whether you use our plugin or not, the point of this is that you need to be providing materials to your clients when they need them and where they need them, and in a way that they will be able to understand how to use it. Because what you don't want to do is spend your life training your clients how to use your training materials. You want to make it a no-brainer for them. So the essential elements of your training material. Make your training material generic. We learned this the hard way. If you're making Jing movies for your clients, don't start off by saying, hi Darren, welcome to your new website, here's your dashboard. Guess what? You can't use that video for anyone else unless their name's Darren. So shoot generic screenshots, make generic videos that you can reuse for your clients, and provide video tutorials and a written manual. Make sure the training materials are very concise and very specific. So I think the longest video we made is the toolbar. It covers all the buttons on the toolbar. But you know, each video should be no more than 3 or 4 minutes. Clients don't want to scroll through and find out, oh, where was that thing about that uploading the image? The image editor in WordPress 3.1 has, you know, crop and scale, rotate, flip. So we made a video for each of those little features because if I want to crop and scale an image, I don't want to have to scroll through how to rotate an image to get to the 1 minute 30 mark of the video, which shows me how to crop and scale it. So make really concise, specific training materials. Same with your written manuals. Make one page about how to do one thing and then a new page for how to do the next thing. And if you're training one-on-one, make sure the client knows where the training materials are once you leave the building. So show them how to access the training materials so that they can soothe their own panic attacks when you're gone. Anyone else got any ideas on how to make WordPress, or any experiences on how to make WordPress better for your clients?
Anyone got any questions or anything for Troy?
My question, you referred to the login before. You had a script to rewrite that login. Just having a login link in the footer, is that just as practical, or is there reasons why you wouldn't prefer to use something like that for your clients?
Yeah, sure, you can have a login link in the footer, absolutely. I mean, I think the point of that story is that it's much easier for a client to go to the footer of their own website and click on login, or just go to their domain /login, then remember WP-login. And it's a small detail, but it does make a difference. So absolutely, just putting a login link in the footer is another shortcut, yep.
Anyone else?
Oh yeah, right. So Amazon, was it S3? Yeah. So all of our rich media assets, images and videos for the plugin are stored on Amazon S3. So if you're making your own custom videos for clients, definitely use the Amazon S3 and cloud delivery platform, because it'll just save you a bunch of hosting fees. And you know, the funny thing is, looking at the statistics from the people that access our plugin, people don't access our plugin anywhere near as much as we thought they would. They do when they first get it, and they look at it, and they watch the videos, and they look through the manual. But I was kind of expecting that people would be accessing it, and the way that we kind of worked out what our hosting costs were going to be is that people would be accessing it all the time. Well, they don't. They access it initially, they get a bit of a handle on it, and then just knowing it's there is enough for them to feel confident in getting in and working things out themselves. So it's like having a safety net there. If the safety net's there, it's like travel insurance. I just went to Bali a couple of weeks ago, bought travel insurance. Of course I didn't need it, but if I didn't have travel insurance, you know, I probably would have broke a leg or got cut on the reef or something. So it's just a bit of added insurance for the client.
I've got a quick question, Troy, about
Sure.
the video user manuals plugin. The pricing for that, is that per website, per domain name specific, or is it like a developer license? Or?
Oh, very good, James. Thank you. Nice segue. The video user manuals is priced at $24 a month, and that's a developer's license, which means you can install it on all of your clients' domains for that one fee of $24 a month. So we kind of worked out that if you're spending half an hour training a client every month on how to use WordPress, then you've just saved money by using the plugin, because once the plugin's there, the client can access it whenever they want. And it's updated for every stable release of WordPress, not release candidates or betas, but stable releases. So yeah, $24 US a month for all of your clients' domains. It's a flat fee.
The statistic that you gave earlier about 2 hours to train and 1 hour answering questions to train your clients, if we use those plugins, the video user manual ones, are we still needing to do that, or can this just take over everything?
There's an interesting case study on our website from a Swedish developer, Joakim Eriksson. He's cut half a day off every project by using our plugin. Now the point is, this is not about me flogging our plugin, it's about me encouraging you guys to have training materials in place. So the best part of this case study for me was he's cut half a day off every project by using training materials for the client, which means he's now got Saturday mornings to spend time with his wife and child, rather than having to go off and spend that time training clients. So for me, that was a big win.
Anyone else up the back while I'm walking this way?
That's a pretty good list of things to do for your clients, Troy. One little thing that we do, which is because we've got various training materials available, but we sort of assume clients aren't going to access them. So we enrol them to an autoresponder series when they start that gradually sort of introduces them to the resources bit by bit. We sort of figure by the end of that, they'll get the message, oh, if I go there, that's where all the resources are.
Great. Did everyone hear that? No. So, Glenn from OM4 was just saying that one of the things they do for their clients is enrol their clients in an autoresponder email series. So once they hand over a site, there's a trickle of autoresponder emails that go out to their clients, pointing them to where their training materials are and slowly encouraging the client to go and explore those training materials, which again is a great circuit breaker for that emergency loop I was talking about before. The client just gets those emails, they might ignore them, but if they are going to think about emailing you or calling you, it'll be in their consciousness somewhere that these training materials are available and I can go and educate myself.
And just on Glenn's point there, doing that was actually quite easy to set up. I think we use Aweber, but you could also do it with something like Campaign Monitor now. Literally just a one-off setup thing, and then you just subscribe them to it and all the emails go out, no work. Similar to the, I guess, your weekly Google Analytics thing. It's a quick, easy thing to do.
Yep.
And it probably just reminds them that you're there to help them out, or your resources are there to help them out, right?
Yeah, and it's really interesting. We use Campaign Monitor to send out our autoresponders, and it's really interesting having a look at the reports and what links have been clicked on and seeing clients click on the link to go to the video tutorials or go to the training materials that we've provided them and thinking, isn't that great? I can see that they've done that instead of emailing me or calling me. And in fact, if they do email, if they happen to get through on an email, because we do make it pretty hard for them, but if they do get through on an email, we just send them a canned response back with the links to the training materials.
Any last questions?
I'm just curious about, very interested in your service and looking at maybe getting one of those developer licenses for the videos. I'm curious though, because when we do training with people, I find that it's quite often works better for them if we're talking to them on the phone or face to face, saying this is the process, follow step one, do this, and they're doing it at the same time. Whereas when they're watching a video, they're watching even if the videos are short, they're still watching it, and then they've got to go back in and follow those steps. I'm just wondering if you've got any comments on that.
Yeah, sure. Look, that's a really good point. Where one of the clients, the same woman that's prone to panic attacks, rang me and said that exact thing, that, oh, can you just talk me through it over the phone? I said, well, yes, I can, but I know that you're not going to remember this next week when you need to do it again. You need to do it more than once for this to become second nature and for you to actually cognitively understand the process that you're going through. So I'm happy to do that, but then you're on your own, and how is that useful to you? Because you're going to call me up again and you're going to want me to guide you through it over the phone again. So that's the way that some people learn, and sure, walk them through over the phone or walk them through one-on-one initially, but make sure that they know where to go and watch the videos or have a look at your flowchart or whatever materials you give them, so that you don't need to do that for them a second or third time.
Yeah, it comes back to what you said before about also giving them the manual that they can print out and put there as well.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. I think that's probably about it. Thanks very much, Troy.
Cool, thanks guys. Cheers.